Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7. We're at episode number 1668 and today I'm going to be answering a couple of questions from our patrons. Folks who are patrons at the 501st level and above get to submit questions that I answer here on the podcast once a month, and so today I'm going to answer two of them for you. The first of them comes from Pamela Johnson, and I think this one is one of the great mysteries of the sequel movies at this point. And heck, it was kind of a mystery to begin with even before that. So it was sort of answered in Legends to begin with, but we're going to answer it from the official canon perspective right now. And the question is this: when Darth Vader sliced off Luke's hand in The Empire Strikes Back, obviously, we saw the lightsaber fall and tumble along with his hand, and Luke eventually jumped off the platform, fell down into one of the exhaust tubes, ended up flying out of the bottom of Cloud City. And there is a shot that is supposed to basically give you an idea of, oh boy, it's a long way down for Luke, of something tumbling out of the bottom of Cloud City. And Pamela's question is that Luke's lightsaber and hand? And the answer, well, is not definitive at this point. For the Legends case, and I know I said I wasn't going to get too far into it, so I won't, but it will simply be said that it was not the case in Legends, that it was found lodged in a tube randomly with some debris in Cloud City, and so that's how it was recovered. As far as the actual canon goes, well, the only thing we have to go on at this point is The Empire Strikes Back itself. And some folks have actually, taken the high definition Blu-rays of the special editions and tried to enhance the footage of that object falling as best as possible. And, there have been some, drawings laid over things to try and show you that, oh yeah, this looks like it's a hand and a lightsaber. But you know what? The thing that I've noticed when I've been looking at these is that every time somebody tries to purport the idea that it's a hand holding a lightsaber, the thing of it is that you see the lightsaber in the depiction, or at least, sort of sketched out like this is the outline of where it should be. And the hand is always in the middle. It's always directly in the middle. So in other words, the lightsaber is being held like exactly in the middle by Luke Skywalker's hand. But if you watch the footage, and if you actually freeze frame it, or you go online and you look at freeze frames of the moment when Darth Vader cuts Luke's hand off, what you notice is that Luke is actually holding the lightsaber at the very bottom of the saber. There is a lot of lightsaber shaft before the actual blade that's exposed. So he's actually holding it down by the very bottom, almost like, if you have a baseball bat, he's not choked up on it, right? He's down by the knob, basically. So that in itself would seem to negate any idea of the fact that that falling object could be the lightsaber, based on the heightened scans, like the higher definition. Wow, the word is just failing me right now. Just zooming in on it basically with the high definition and the ability to be able to get clearer shots of it in high definition with the zooming in. It's not as pixelated as it used to be with older formats, but every time it's that, center hold, and he wasn't holding it in the center when his hand got chopped off. So that to me is pretty much the conclusive evidence that I need to know that it wasn't his lightsaber that fell from the bottom of Cloud City. So it just had to be some random piece of garbage. Maybe it was a piece of the weather vane that he fell onto and snapped off, and some fabric from his shirt tore with it or something like that. But no, not the lightsaber. So that means that it was stuck somewhere in Cloud City, which is pretty much what happened in Legends, and somehow made its way into Maz Kanata's possession 30 years later. The one story, and honestly, this is one of those things where I'm bummed that we haven't had a chance to talk about it, and I'm bummed that it's almost not even available to be found anymore. But there was that mobile game, Star Wars Uprising, that took place on Bespin, or at least took place in the NOAT system, and it was taking place after the events of Return of the Jedi, when the Empire in charge there was trying to blockade the whole system or blockade the sector, I should say, and make it so that the people in there didn't know that the emperor was dead and that the empire was falling. And so there was some opportunity there potentially to have somebody stumble across that thing, and I don't know if they ever did or not. There was a person who did make some effort to try to capture all the story beats from Uprising as you played through the thing, but the mobile game itself isn't available anymore. But I'm going to see if I can dig back in and find that. So, Pamela, there's your answer. Not his lightsaber. It seems, it's not officially quote-unquote confirmed, but it's about as definitive as we can get of an answer. And I'm pretty confident in it. And then Bobby Gordon is another patron of the show, and he asked me, if I lived in the Star Wars galaxy, what would my occupation be? And so my guess, my initial reaction was, well, I'd probably be doing sort of the same thing I am now, so maybe I'd be working for HoloNet News. But I think ultimately I would probably be working for Jocasta Nu in the Jedi Archives, because way back when I was a younger lad, I actually worked in the Los Angeles Public Library System. I worked there for 8 years and really very much enjoyed my time in the system. And even when we moved here to New Hampshire, for about a year and a half, I did public relations for our local library as well. So very drawn to libraries. You feel very strongly about them and about how valuable they are to the community and to the people who use them. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with that I would have been working for Jocasta Nu and helping out with the Jedi Archives. So thank you, Bobby, and thank you, Pam, for those questions. I really appreciate it. And next month we'll do this again. And so if you're a patron at the 501 level or above, then don't forget to be on the lookout for the post at patreon.com/SW7X7 to see when you can post your question. And if you're not yet a patron or not a patron at that level, I hope you will consider not just, don't become a patron just because you can submit a question for me to answer on the air. Do it because you think, hey, this guy is putting out crazy good Star Wars content day in and day out and has been doing so for nearly 5 years. Like, if that is worth a cup of coffee a month to you, then I hope you'll consider doing that at patreon.com/SW7X7. And that is going to do it for our show today. Thank you so much for joining me for it. Hope you're subscribing if you're not already too. And of course, as always, may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
This podcast is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox. It is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other related Star Wars items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2019 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.